You know what? I'm pretty easy until about January 1st. I let them kind of do their thing. They see me every day during the course of the season, and I'm probably the last guy they want to talk to early on in the season, in the off season. So I give them through the holidays, and then they'll start hearing from me a little bit. I text certain guys. Had to give Musgrove a little grief here recently too. Make sure he had some Dramamine in him and stuff like that. But for the most part, I kind of leave him alone.
How do you view that trip that he took
It doesn't surprise you that he did that. I know I couldn't do something like that, but looked like he had a lot of fun with it, and it's just Joe being Joe.
He lows down.
It's all right. I did a little cool there. I asked him, I go, "Are you going to warm up before this, hopefully?" He says, "I really don't need to." He said any pitch will probably break the record, but I think he did warm up a little bit before it.
About the rotation, last year you had 6 or 7 the first half of the year. I know you were maybe a little skeptical going into that. What did you learn about kind of how to sustain a game season now with the starters?
Yeah, I'm not so much skeptical in the fact that you realize you need, probably 8 for 5 over the course of the season. It's just the quality that we had and how are they going to fit in. But as you saw, we get down to the end, there were 3 guys that we leaned on a lot. And it's never, nothing looks like it does at the beginning. So give AJ credit in the fact that, he did put together a deep group, and they kind of ruled the day early on. The relievers kind of, came a little bit more prominent in the second half of the season, especially down the stretch. So you can never have too much starting pitching.
Do you like these meetings, and what do you benefit as a manager in your sense of being here?
Let me think about that one for a minute. You know what? I like this year because it's been a couple years since we've done this. But whenever the whole baseball world gets together in the same place, there's obviously a lot bantered about. Everybody's paying attention to their phones and news, immediate news, and I'm usually a guy that stays away from that. But even I, during the course of the winter meetings, are checking things on, an hourly basis or so, and it's a lot of fun for everybody in the industry involved.
What were your thoughts when you saw the report about Aaron going to San Francisco and then they were?
You know what? I didn't see the reports that he did go there, so I'm still hopefully ends up somewhere else. But if he does end up going home, then he goes home. He just has something we have to deal with. Right. No, I think we're able to have guys that so-called, several shortstops if that was the case. Jake can play anywhere. He could move over to first if we had to. Fernando Tatis is probably as athletic and, a guy that could play anywhere in the field, probably any sport. So I think, if there's a team built to be able to move some guys around, it would probably be us. Now, there are probably some tough conversations along the way as far as that goes, but I think with the athletes we have, we were able to move some guys around and make it fit. Yeah, I think, it's probably about his time to get more of a workload. So, the times we used him late in the season, he did well. He had one game in Arizona where he caught Joe, and I don't know if it was a shutout or one-run game. He hit a home run, and so you're always looking, for homegrown guys that aren't making a ton of money at a certain amount of time. We have a lot of guys that are, so you have to support that with guys like him, and it's always nice to have guys from within the system because. I've often said it's like a university for you. Your freshman, your sophomore, junior, you finally get to varsity, and there's a lot of pride in the organization when you come up in it.
What did you see coming from spring training with the Boys Campus and seeing him at the end of the year? Any progression that you saw in maturity and engagement?
Yeah, I think there was quite a bit. Now, I didn't know him going in, and because of the shortened spring, he didn't get much of a look either. At the time we had Caratini as well, and it was tough to get him, we could get him some DH at bats, but it was tough to get him behind the plate. So I just followed him over the course of the season, had some contact with AAA guys, and seemed like he matured as the season went along. And then when he was with us for that last stint, I think it was as much a part of the team as he's felt, and he was all in for us and did everything we asked.
How important would it be for Vaughn to have a full offseason with this team, go into spring training with you guys, and kind of be more settled?
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, when you come in, especially this year with the late, with the late date for the trade deadline, you come in and there's such an expectation level. I don't know that he put any pressure on himself as far as that goes, but you can't help a little bit knowing that, this trade's made for you to come in and put the team over the top. The numbers probably didn't look like they did on the back of his baseball card, but when we really needed him to be there at the end with big hits and in the postseason, he was. But I think settling in and getting a full season, getting spring training with his team now, he understands how we do things here. He's embraced by his teammates. Spring training is always important for a first-year player to get to know his team. He didn't have that. I think all the firsts are out of the way for him, and he can kind of settle in and do his thing. Yeah, as right now he's a starter. I mean, we lost some guys, and he came in last year as a starter as well, and opened up the season as a starter. So the great thing about him is he's about as versatile as pitcher as I've been around at this point, and he'll do anything to help the team. So I know he's happy about being back. I know he's excited about getting a chance to start again. But we'll see how the season goes and where the needs are. And as he showed you last year, he's open for anything he can do to help the team.
AJ said the two biggest needs are starting pitching and corner outfield. In your opinion, how urgent is it that you guys address those needs in this winter, wheeling and dealing, or do you think that's something you can kind of plug as the season goes along and address it?
Yeah, I think we could potentially plug it in later too. We have a really good core group here, and a team that's coming off a pretty good season and tasted the postseason. Got to the National League Championship Series, and a lot of our core guys remain. So it's a hungry team, and as we sit here right now, I like our team going into, if we were going to spring training tomorrow. But it allows you not to have urgency, here at the winter meetings to try to do something to plug some of those holes, because we really don't have that many.
That's kind of expected. How difficult is it to lose a guy like Josh Bell?
Yeah, look, Josh came in, did a nice job for us. He fit in really well. For a guy that was used to playing every day, he had to, at times, look at a reduced role, come off the bench. A guy was used to playing first base every day. He's doing a lot of DH, and it was a difficult, scenario for him too. But he got along. He was all in for us. He's really, if you got to know him, he's just a terrific gentleman, and was never a problem. Never complained about, whether he was in the lineup or not, or whether he was DHing. He was there to try to push us as far as we could go, and he certainly helped us do that.
Hassan Kim, the unsung hero of this Padres team. How does he endear himself so much to his teammates?
Well, it's performance. Starts with performance. I think he was as consistent as any shortstop in the league, and a guy that, with a team that offensively we were pretty deep. Not only did he contribute on the offensive end, but defensively he was fantastic for us, and really was the key to our defensive prowess last year. So, after a year of him kind of getting settled in the States, not getting to play a whole lot, was thrust into the lineup and did a fantastic job for us. So, I mean, for me, a Gold Glove caliber type guy for us, and really solidified our defense.
Mr. Melvin, Dodgers announced that he's going to participate in the WBC. Are there any concerns or something as the manager?
Not with you. You know what he's going to do. He's going to prepare like he does. He's going to compete. He came in last year and might have thrown 2 or 3 innings his first time out for us in a shortened spring. You're really with starting pitching, you don't worry too much about that because he's going to get his innings in. It's relievers that, how much are they going to get in the WBC and how consistent that's going to be. So I don't worry too much about him based on, how hungry he is to compete every year and how prepared he is to do his job all the time. Just be another feather in his cap, and I'm proud of the fact that he wants to represent his country.
play from Japan qualification, or when Japan comes here, or do you know?
I don't know. I just found out about this too, so I don't know the details of it.
What kind of impact can a deep playoff run have on the team following the season?
I have a real impact. I mean, they got a taste of not only just getting to the playoffs, but winning 2 series and winning against 2 really good teams, and then and then being so close to potentially getting to a World Series. I mean, you that's tough to get out of. You really want to push that to the next level the next year, and it was exciting for everybody. It was fun for everybody. It ends really dramatically when you get that far, and it just gives you that much more incentive to take it to the next level.
With the full spring training, are you going to approach this new spring training any differently than you did with the shortened?
Well, now we have the WBC this year, so we'll have quite a few guys, as my guess, that won't be with us. So that's the whole different dynamic that you have to, get used to as you go along. See how many guys are there. Gives you a chance to look at some younger guys, but it's not going to be a normal spring again. We haven't had a normal spring in quite some time, and based on the fact that the WBC is involved this year, there are going to be some hurdles and some things you're going to have to deal with out of the norm.
What about this offseason? Have you had a chance to kind of recharge your battery, step away, go somewhere, and kind of step away from everything?
As much travel as we do during the season, I try not to travel a ton. At some point in time I will, but just kind of rest, relax, stay at home for a little bit, get used to that. I do a little hiking, a little biking, and golf and so forth. So yes, it's easy to recharge.
Ya que nos copiaste, por favor, devuelvan los créditos, que son gratis.